So today I'll address a comment I got, which I won't screenshot and name the person. They said I should wait until I have a full team before creating content and music and uploading. And I'm going to explain why that's a bad idea. And there's a very logical reason as to why it's a bad idea, which I'll put forth. And I'll use an analogy. I like food. I really like food. It's kind of needed to survive. But if I was only going to eat from a restaurant or nothing, I would starve. Not everyone has the money in which they can eat out every night, and nor should you. It's good to learn how to cook yourself and be self-sufficient. And so to further this analogy, I'll use fried rice. I love fried rice, it's delicious. And I really like restaurant-bought fried rice. However, if I was to only eat fried rice when I bought it from a restaurant, I'd very rarely get to eat it. And it's a good source of all your different vitamin zones and protein and whatnot. And another good reason to use fried rice as an analogy is there's many ingredients that go into fried rice. Whether it's the rice, prawns, the pork, the greens, the eggs, etc., etc. And much like content and music, you can create each of those ingredients yourself, and at varying levels in which you can do so. Or you could outsource it and buy it pre-prepared. You could even buy the packet fried rice and then cook that up, but it's nowhere near as good. So when it comes to music and content, okay, so fried rice, you can cook the rice up yourself, you can cook the eggs yourself, you can cook the pork, the prawns, the greens, the lot, put it all together and eat it whenever you want, at your own discretion and in your own time. But if you're to buy the fried rice, you have to wait for the restaurant to be open, and then you have to pay an exorbitant amount in which to get that fried rice to eat. Whereas if you do it yourself, you can do it for a fraction of the price. Sure, it might not be as good to begin with, but if you make fried rice enough yourself at home, it gets better and better every time you make it. Much like your content and music. If you're doing it all yourself, it gets better and better every time you do it with ongoing practice. The tools and equipment required to cook said fried rice, it doesn't have to be the best if you're doing it yourself at home. And as time goes by, you can slowly start to replace the cooking utensils and the pans and all the other components until you get better quality. But in the meantime, you're staying fed, you're not starving to death, and you're still eating fried rice. So when you look at music like this as well, this is why I think it's a good idea just to start with whatever you have and get involved. Keep food on the table in the meantime. I mean, there's nothing to say if you cook fried rice at home, you can't then go out to a restaurant and eat bought fried rice later and enjoy that just as much. You don't have to wait. It's delicious. And music and content's the same. You can create content now with what you have, and then further down the road when you have better equipment, you can recreate the same content. I mean, it's still as enjoyable. For example, I'm using a stage mic at the moment and a stage stand because I don't have the other equipment yet. You're basically getting on the way then and you're furthering your experience in the time for the time being. And this is a good analogy for all of life as well. I mean, if you wait until everything's perfect, if you wait until you have everything right, all the ducks in line, that seldom happens. It's a sad fact. I mean, if you waited for perfection before you were to do something, you would never get it done. And before you know it, your entire life has passed you by and you never got it done. Much like fried rice, if you waited for the correct utensils, or if you waited till you had money to go to a restaurant, what do you do in between? Like, how do you feed yourself in between? You can't be looking for perfection. I mean, you can aim for perfection, but you can't be expecting perfection. And you can't be relying on perfection before you do something. Because it's, as the wise ones say, knowledge through experience leads to wisdom. You'll never get that wisdom unless you have the experience. So, yum yum, eat up.